Hi there, Sandra here from Createinspain and Siser, Juliet Beginners to Pro. I'm doing a project at the moment which is going to take me quite a while to finish because there are 20 pages of printing cuts for this. Now I've got all my pages printed and I have them cut out and I've started to put things together. But for those of you who are going to be inclined to do this project, it is one from the Canon Creative Park. It's the Christmas market, I think it's called. These are great models. I mean, the detail in them is really quite cute. And I do like them when they're done, but some bits of them are a pain in the neck. So I thought I'd give you a few little hints and tips as I go along. Not doing a construction video per se, but things that you might want to know. So this one, as you can see, has got an interior print as well as an exterior. So it's 2 layers of card put together, which is great in that it makes the box part of it really nice and sturdy. However, what you do need to know is that all this front area needs to be cut out. So it's not just the one layer that needs it. It's not just the front that needs the cut out here. It's the inside piece as well. The door is actually going to be an opening door. So these 2 lines here also need to be cut. Now in the instructions, they get you to put it all together and then cut out the pieces here and the windows. That is not particularly easy to do in 2 layers of card, I have found. It's just not that easy. So I would prefer to actually do it on the individual layers, just so you know. The other thing is, at the moment, I'm just doing what is going to go on here. So it's got a little eave here, a little porch thing. Now, this is the main part of it, which is pretty easy. No great difficulty here. But these are other parts of it, and they are tiny. In order to get them bent, so these are actually relatively simple. They're just long boxes, in fact. So you would put it all together and close up the ends and stick it all together. So not difficult to do, but the folding is a bit difficult. So what I found useful is a pair of flat tweezers. These happen to be Siser ones. And so you can put it along the actual fold line and just do that. And your fold is done. This is so much easier than trying to do it any other way. And I haven't pre-scored this at all. My other tip for this at the moment would be to use a nail dotting tool or something similar to put your glue onto the very small bits. I've got a very small point on here, or I've got a bigger point here. It just makes it that much easier rather than using glue from a nozzle. I apologise for the background noise on here. The council workers are trimming trees on the street. So the other thing that you can do with your tweezers when you're folding, if you need to, you can actually fold things through and then use the pressure of your tweezers to get a sharp crease. Sometimes you need to do it and sometimes you don't. On these little pieces, yeah, quite often you do, because they are so tiny. Also, when doing this piece, there is an interior piece to strengthen it, and that has got the print, so you must put the print face up. I think they've actually finished trimming the trees outside now, hopefully. They keep coming back and going up and down the road. My other little tip for this is these sewing clips. If you've got anything that you want to hold together, these are really, really good for it. This is my finished project. A couple of things that I didn't do. There was a candle set, which I didn't make. I really didn't have anywhere to put it in here when I'd done it. And on the lamppost here, there were a couple of little like metal rims that were supposed to be added, decorative ones around there. I just could not get those to work. They were so minute. I just couldn't fold them neatly enough. They were so tiny. But the rest of it I did manage to do. Now what I've done is I've mounted mine on a piece of plywood. I had some hanging around. I just took my nail drill and I just smoothed the edges a little bit. And then I stuck the printed base onto that. I need to put a bit more glue under there. So that's making it a lot more sturdy than it would if it's just on a card base. So this is the front of it. I've got a load of houses deep inside. Don't know if you can actually see them. Might just about be able to make those out. We have our little Santa, we have the bear in his sleigh, we have the little Christmas stockings, and we have these things hanging up from the ceiling inside. And these I've actually used fishing wire or fishing twine to hang them so that they really do look like they are suspended invisibly. Now this little thing is quite fiddly to make, but it is doable. You just have to remember to put the twine in between the two layers because otherwise it makes it more difficult to hang it up. And these little balls here are quite easy to make. Now they consist of 6 circles which you fold in half, and the easiest way I found to do it is to fold them in all in half in one go, then to stack up 3 and stick them together. And then when you've got the 3 stuck together, you put the 2 lots of 3 together, and that makes it a lot easier. The bear here was quite difficult to do his head. One thing I found rather strange is that they only seem to have one print side for the arms and the legs. Now I got round this by using an alcohol marker to colour the other side in. When it came to the lamppost here, some of the bits on the edges you could still see the white, so again I used a black marker and made those edges dark. I think the bit that I found the most confusing was probably this cupboard here. Now it's in 2 parts. The bottom part is a simple box. That's not difficult at all. This bit here was a little confusing because part of it has got drawers printed on it. Now maybe I've done it wrong, but I don't think I have. But the drawers actually show on the back of it, and that was what was confusing me because I was looking at the instructions and looking at the actual item thinking, where do those drawers go? So yeah, that was a little confusing. The houses are pretty easy to put together. Just where you have the ones where they have like the pointed dormer roof in, that's a little bit fiddly put together. But what I advise you to do is when you look at the instructions, if you look at them on your computer, really get into those instructions, really zoom in on them, and then it will become a little more obvious what you're supposed to do. The Christmas tree was really easy to put together. There's a couple of them, and they are very well constructed, nice and simple. Just look at the instructions and you'll be fine on those. This, I wasn't even sure I was going to bother with this. I'm not sure that I really like it, and it was a bit of a pain to put together. We have this tiny little Santa. He was very easy to put together and he's quite cute in there. These little mugs are quite sweet. They have a tiny little tab on the top, and to be honest, I'm not quite sure why it's there. If I did it again, I would just trim those little tabs off. And the poinsettia here was really simple to put together, but what I did was I used a ball tool and a piece of craft foam and worked it that way around, and I think that worked out really quite nicely. Here's another one of the stars. Again, a bit fiddly to put together, but not too bad. Then on the inside the door here, you can see I've put the other wreath. This is the porch that I was talking about with the piece of wooden coloured stuff underneath. The little snowflake sign was very easy to do, no problem there. Now, one thing that I did find was that it was very difficult to actually put things on these back shelves when it's all constructed. What I would be inclined to do is to make up the shelf, make up the houses, put them together and then put them on the back wall. It would be considerably easier. Trying to get those in position when everything else is constructed around it is not the simplest way of doing it. So there we are. It's really quite an involved piece. 20 pages of prints to do this, but the result is very nice, and I think this could be sort of like an heirloom piece that you keep for a long time. Now, what I would say is that if you want to do it and you really don't think you can cope, try and do it as a family project. Get other people involved in it. If you've got a few crafty friends or a few crafty relatives, you can actually do it over the Christmas holidays. Give each person 1 or 2 sheets of things to cut out and make up, and it will be a relatively short-lived process. It took me almost a week in between cutting it out and constructing, and I did at one point spent virtually all day doing it. I don't know what the hours are on this one, because usually on the Canon site they give you a guide about how long it's supposed to take you to do it. But yeah, let me know underneath, do you think it was worth all that effort? Okay, that's it for today. I'll see you again soon. Take care now.